Greetings, Michael.
Meet again, huh?
Here we are. What's the chances?
Tell you what, like clockwork. What's new, Edward? How's the week going?
It's going well, although I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of concern going on these last few days, social media and the news. What are you concerned about, buddy?
The coronavirus.
Yeah,
I have a feeling at least 2, possibly 3 of my children have it.
that is nothing to joke about.
Neither has the bodily fluids that have been coming out of them been anything to joke about.
Corona?
They have the same consistency as Corona.
Ooh. Both ends?
What's that?
Both ends?
Both ends.
Oh, God.
Out their ears.
Oof.
Usually at about 2 a.m. and 4 a.m.
At least they're consistent.
There is nothing consistent about what's coming out.
I saw a guy spit tequila out of his nose Saturday night at his birthday party.
Oh, yeah?
His own birthday party. Which if you're going to do it, I guess do it at your own birthday party.
Yeah. Speaking of which, reminds me of a story.
Is that right?
It was your birthday in Knoxville, Tennessee.
My 25th birthday.
I don't know what
It
date it was.
Yeah, 25. July 25th of 2000 and maybe it was 2006.
Okay. I remember getting in my car in Atlanta at about 6 o'clock. Put on a nice shirt. It's looking good. Wanted to look good for you, Mike.
Rainy afternoon, if I recall correctly, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Friday. It's a Friday.
I drove all the way to Knoxville, Tennessee to the location that you had told us to.
Yeah, 2.5 hours door to door. Toddy's Backdoor Tavern is where we were that night.
Taddy's, yeah, that place.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
so I remember walking in. You guys had already kind of gotten the party
Well,
started.
no, so this is odd. You got there about 8:30, 9 o'clock. And Toddy's is a unique place. At least it was. I imagine it still is. But there's a bar upstairs. You have to go around the back to go into the bar, which they call it the Backdoor Tavern. And then downstairs in the basement that had a street storefront was a liquor store. The bar only sold beer, and they had a tub of dirty water that they gave you free hot dogs out of. You get hot dogs and beer at the bar, but if you bought liquor in the liquor store downstairs, you could then bring it upstairs into the bar, and you could drink booze in the bar.
In the little bottles, right?
Yep. Well, you could buy anything, but that day in particular, I decided, well, we're gonna have a little birthday party. I bought little bottles, little airplane bottles of flavored liquor, and brought them up to the bar. Set them out on the table. Like we're gonna take a shot of our airplane booze once Ed gets here from Atlanta.
Can I continue?
There
the
you
story
go.
now?
So we're one beer in when Ed shows up.
All right. So I show up. I remember Shanda Hardy being there.
Yep.
One of our compadres.
Mm-hmm.
And yay, Mike's birthday. Let's do a shot. And we all stood in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
And I seem to remember it was maybe mint schnapps.
Well,
right?
there are a variety of flavors, but yeah.
Okay, so
yes,
I drank
peppermint schnapps,
a mint schnapps neat out of the bottle.
which was warm at this point because it's been sitting on the table for an hour.
Yep.
It was warm already, but yeah, had not cooled off.
Everyone did their thing. I then turned around to talk to Shanda, and it felt like somebody had slapped me on the back.
Yeah.
With some force. Then, as it transpired, I saw various fluidy substances going all over Shanda's face, her ear, in her
got it
hair.
right in the ear.
At which point, I realized that you had projectile vomited all over my back and over Shanda's face.
Yep, it was kind of like I felt it, when you take a shot and then you start to feel, the nerves in your cheeks and kind of squeezing, and then the tear comes to your eye, and I said, oh man, I know what's going to happen right now, and I went and put my hand over my mouth, and it had the same effect.
Garden hose.
It had the same effect that putting your thumb over a garden hose would have. And I shot that a good 4 or 5 feet with force. And then I got kicked out of the bar. And so I went home,
Strangely.
I cleaned up, and I put on a different costume, hooded sweatshirt, if I recall, and a baseball hat, and I came back. It was my birthday, goddammit. They kicked me out of my own birthday party.
Yeah, I went outside, took my shirt off, cleaned it in a puddle.
Yep.
Kind of wringed it out, put it on the back seat of my car, and I think I probably grabbed like a golf waterproof jacket,
just in case.
which happened to be in my trunk, and rocked that for the rest of the evening. But anyway,
closest we've come to coronavirus, I guess.
There was probably some Coronas involved at some point as well.
Perhaps Corona a little bit high class for Toddy's Backdoor Tavern, though.
Yeah. Anyway, so obviously I hope the boys don't have that. But
yes, no, I imagine that they're clear of the coronavirus at this stage of the game. Yeah. Knock on wood.
What else has been going on? We lost a legend this week, Mike.
Indeed. Yep. It was weird. I got home from church on Sunday and saw.
That should probably be a conversation for later as well.
Probably, yeah. And Kobe.
Do you get hot when you walk into the church?
Kobe was at church. Well, they keep the heat on in there. I think that's why. Kobe was at church on Sunday morning, but so I got home from church and then saw a message, and I was like, that can't be real. You know, a lot of times when I get messages that seem far fetched, it ends up taking me to a picture of a gentleman sitting on the side of the bed that I don't want to look at.
But you do every time.
But because you never know, and so.
Like,
I clicked on this as well, and unfortunately, I wish it was
that guy again.
I wish it was a joke this time. It wasn't though. That's I tell you, I was watching the news, and a lot of the news programs didn't really know what the heck was going on. I think they're very cautious to report things that weren't true. I was watching CNN, and they were reporting on a helicopter crash in California, and I'd already gotten messages that Kobe was in the helicopter. And they very hesitant to say it, because obviously you don't want to get something like that wrong. But it was I saw people compare it. You'll remember where you were when JFK was shot. You remember where you were on 9/11, and people say they'll remember where they were when Kobe died, which is interesting. The magnitude of a sports star can have, So
sports are bigger than life itself, certainly for me. I don't know. Yeah.
What's your take? Obviously, you didn't grow up a Kobe fan. He's younger than you. You're old, and you are from England, where you don't even know what basketball is.
There was that one guy that played for like the Bulls from England. Forget his name.
Yeah, so does everybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I came here in '95, and actually, this is kind of puts things in perspective a little bit. My freshman year, my first week of being in the United States was the same week of the O.J. Simpson trial.
Oh, wow.
And
welcome to America. Here's us at our finest.
Yeah, and so when the verdict went down, a bunch of guys in my dorm room came running out and were like cheering and whatever.
Let the juice loose. We used to chant that before our football games.
The club doesn't fit.
You must have quit.
Yeah. And I think at that point in time, I knew absolutely nothing about basketball because one of the guys that was out in the hallway was cheering, whatever. I was like, what's going on? And they're like, OJ. And I didn't really know who that was.
He's a football player.
Well, I know now.
Okay. All right.
And he had a T-shirt on that said, "and won."
Ah.
And I was like, what does that mean? And he explained it to me for a good 8 minutes, but he basically had to start from scratch. He's like, no, man, it's when you're making a shot and you get fouled. I'm like, okay, what sport are we talking about? So he had to really walk me through it.
It's hard to do. Yeah, I had remember.
I actually played an intramurals game of basketball my freshman year of college, and I got thrown out of the game within the first 3 minutes.
Kick the ball?
I kicked the ball into the roof of the intramural. It went up into like the ceiling board.
What a guess.
It's just for fun. I was like, boom. And they gave me the old technical. And I said, all right, I'm out of it.
Can't kick the ball. I had a young lady who was Hungarian work with me and took us to a baseball game.
Goulash comes from.
Yeah, apparently. Kunigunda comes from there as well, and she came from Hungary, and we went to a Royals game.
If she ate goulash, she'd rarely be hungry.
And it was an interesting moment because she was all right. So explain this game to me, baseball. And I've grown up here in America, like baseball. A baseball, like you just understand it, and so having to explain the rules of baseball to an adult who it was foreign to, it was very difficult. All right, so that guy just swung and missed, so that's a strike. Okay, he didn't swing, but it was a good pitch, so that's a strike. Okay, he hit it, but it was a foul ball, so that's a strike also. Well, he didn't swing at that one, and so it was very, very difficult, and I don't know that I did a good job, so I doubt she's a baseball fan today.
That's interesting because, again, my first year here in the States, that fall, the Braves won the World Series. So 95.
Yeah.
And I remember being at one of the, seniors' townhouses playing cards, and it was on the TV. It was probably game 6, 7, whenever it was going down. And
the Blue Jays are playing. Who do they play? Twins, I think.
And I remember thinking, like, you guys are pretty excited about this. Is this a big deal? And they're like, it's the World Series, which, by the way, I don't know why it's called the World Series when it's only played within the U.S.
No, they play it down in South America and islands where
those
it's
teams
warm.
aren't playing in it.
Well, their players are, though. The kids who grew up there are playing.
That's like the English Premier League champions, who are arguably the best soccer teams play in England.
Mm-hmm.
When they win the championship, they're called English Premier League champions.
Yeah.
They're not called world champions because they weren't playing against the rest of the world. They were just playing against the teams there in England.
Well, the rest of the world needs to make some baseball leagues that have some type of
there are other
respectability.
baseball leagues, but those guys don't even have the opportunity to play. Now, would they lose? Probably. But they didn't get the chance to play. Therefore, you should just be called the United States champions.
But I think that until they have a team that can compete, they won't be.
Well, that's
so
very ignorant thing to say, Mike.
No, I disagree.
You don't think one of these Japanese teams could get hot if they got the opportunity?
I don't think they could beat a Major League Baseball team. There's no way.
Until we know that, until they play against each other. Okay, I'm going to start telling everyone I'm the heavyweight champion of the world.
What?
I'm not going to actually fight anyone.
They play against the best competition in the world in baseball. The best
opinion,
baseball players in the world come to America. The best baseball players in Japan come to America to play.
That is okay, and the best English soccer teams play in England against each other.
Yeah, and so they win England. What if they play against the French teams?
My point is that they call themselves the fucking English Premier League champions because they're playing
in the English Premier League.
Right.
Correct.
But your point is, they're the best.
They are.
So therefore, they would beat everybody, hypothetically, if they ever played against them. So we're going to call themselves the fucking world champions.
They are the world champions. Bring a Japanese team over. Come on. Get out of here.
Anyway, yeah. So
when the Chiefs win the fucking Super Bowl this weekend, they're not the best football team in the world? Is there a band of Aussies down under that are going to come and beat them?
That's not the point.
Well, how is it not the point? They'll be the world champions.
It's not played against world teams.
Go look at the rosters of Major League Baseball and tell me how many of them were born in America.
World Cup soccer, all the countries in the world get to qualify in their area, South America, Europe, whatever. All the teams get a shot of being world champions.
Okay.
Right? Take the U.S. Open golf, right? They have it figured out. Everyone in the U.S. being the operative word, gets to qualify to play in the U.S. Open. Everyone gets a shot. People make it to the sectionals. They make it to the regionals. They make it to the U.S. Open. The winner of the U.S. Open golf tournament is called the U.S. Open champion. They're not called the fucking world champion.
No.
Because
golf's an individual sport, and there's other players from other places in the world. But put a baseball team together in Norway and tell me that they're going to beat the friggin' whoever, anybody, nobody. The Astros will steal their goddamn signs, so they ain't going to beat the Astros.
Okay. Anyway, back to.
All right, go ahead.
Shit,
we're gonna table this one, and we'll get to this one in season 4.
Well, I'm right, and you're wrong. You can't call yourself the world champions when the world didn't even have a chance to play.
How do they not have a chance? They have just as much chance as anybody else. There are more international players in Major League Baseball than there are American players.
Okay, with that theory, that means all soccer players around the world have to come to England to play in the English Premier League.
If they want to be the English Premier League champions, otherwise you win the World Cup.
No, they are
it's a different structure.
It's you are,
And they do have the World Series of baseball, which does put those teams together.
Again, the World Series.
They have,
of baseball.
it's an international tournament.
Only eligible for teams in the United States.
No.
No.
I'm not talking about the
Okay,
Major League Baseball World
I would
Series.
like-
I'm talking about the international
like
where they
the-
wear the
I would
hats
like
from
the-
their country. And
I
they
would
have,
like the Tokyo.
I watched the Dominican Republic
astronauts
play
to
Italy.
play in the World Series next
Well,
year.
they need to win and be better, and then they'll get invited. Anyway, you're going someplace
Anyway,
else with this.
Anyway, so I remember thinking that a strike was only a strike if the guy swung the bat. And the guy sitting next to me was like, no, it's if it's like above his knees, below his shoulders.
Mhm.
And then I was like, so if you're taller,
Bigger strike zone.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well,
I mean, that's unfair also, I imagine. Because
No,
you get small guys. In
no,
other
it's just-
countries, you don't have a fair shake.
I think you've already lost. You're already getting deeper into the hole.
How? No way. The World
Yeah.
Series champions are the world champions. The Super Bowl champion is the world champion.
So
The guy who wins the World Cup is the world champion.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm very pro-America, as you know. I'm a
Me too.
U.S. citizen. Here's the thing about America that I will say: majority of Americans don't really wrap their head around the concept of there's other shit out there other than America. So
Correct.
in Europe,
Agree
you
with
know,
that.
we grow up, we learn all the different countries and where they
That's
are.
because they're as close
If
to
I
you as
handed
Alabama
you a map
is
of the
to us.
world that was blank,
Mhm.
in fact, if I handed Donald Trump a map of the world that was blank, and I was
No,
like,
you can't.
"Where
You can't
is
judge us. You
France?"
can't judge us on our weakest. That's not fair. These are outliers.
Well, anyway, so there is other stuff going on in other countries around the world.
Yeah, like the
Which is-
the Wu-Tang virus there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Wu-Tang Clan.
Nothing to
Virus.
fuck with.
Yeah. But anyway, where were we?
I don't know. We were talking about the Super Bowl, I think.
Okay. Were we?
No, but might as well go to another World Championship game that doesn't matter to the
Yeah,
British.
another potential world champion that won't play against anybody
Yeah,
other than
I'm waiting
the
for
other
that
31
Australian
teams
rugby
in
team to
America.
show up with their shoulder pads on.
It's not about that, is it?
Guess not. What's it about? It's about commercials, gambling,
Okay,
chicken
there's
wings.
no consistency.
beer.
All right, let's take athletics. There's a U.S. championship. Only U.S. people can compete in it. Whoever wins, congrats, you're the U.S. champion, right? Then there's there's the European championship.
Wait, so there's not only U.S. people that can compete in it, though. I think that's it. We are a melting pot, Edward. Here, we're a melting pot here in the United States. We welcome people from all over the world, and we assimilate them into our culture and into our nation. Melting pot.
What about
So-
all those little kids that were dying in the cages on the border?
They didn't.
recently?
There weren't not a lot of little kids who died in the cages.
A
Okay?
couple.
I wasn't there, but I heard that there was not a lot of little kids that were dying
So
in the cages. But
you know what? Today I'm just going to call you out on all your
oh.
absolute horseshit.
I welcome
What
that.
did you say? You
I welcome
welcome
that challenge.
everybody into the melting pot.
Hey,
Oh, apart from that little 7-year-old trying to get across the river down in Texas.
he's holding a gun. He doesn't. No one does that. No one picks off 7-year-olds. You got here somehow. I'm still questioning how.
I did it through my skill and ability
Oh.
of hitting a golf ball.
Well, you obviously didn't swim. Every time you try to run, you
I
hurt
came in
yourself.
legally.
Yeah.
I mean, I was here.
You came
for
here
a
illegally.
while,
Okay, that's fine.
illegally.
Yes. All right.
You know, but
We're gonna talk about it.
details.
Yeah. So, the English Premier League, the
Uh-huh.
team that won.
Yep.
Where were the players from?
All over.
Correct.
Okay, you're not helping your point here.
It's the English Premier League, and there's a lot
Right.
of other leagues out there. What's
I mean,
what's another baseball
So
league?
Liverpool is going to win the Premier League this year. There's probably 2 or 3 English people on the team.
Okay, so same thing with baseball, same thing with football.
Okay, go ahead.
Football is much more
Go ahead.
American. Football is obviously much more American, right? But there's no league that's at the level of talent and competition of Major League Baseball. There's no league in the world that's at the competition of Major League Baseball. There's not. There's no way. How do you make that face? You talk about cricket here. There's no way. There's no other baseball league in the world that has the talent and the quality of players.
You're not right.
It's the Major League. How am I not right?
Let's say you are. Okay, let's take another sport.
Okay,
let's take Australian rules football.
Okay,
where do you think the best Australian rules football players are?
Probably Australia. And I think if you win Australian rules football, you're probably the best in the world.
So what do you call yourself?
The world champions.
They don't.
Well, they should.
You know why? They're not arrogant.
Oh, here we go. Arrogant. No, so they should call themselves the best in the world because they earned it, because no one else can do what they do.
Yeah, but they're not arrogant to think that, we can, even though we won in our little section of the world, we're just going to claim the whole world.
They should. Own it.
Right.
They're the best. They're the best. If Australian rules football, the best Australian team is the best in the world. Just like the best Major League Baseball team is the best Major League Baseball team in the world. Just like the best NFL team is the best football team in the world. That's what it is. That's the top notch. The World Cup is the pinnacle for soccer. So who wins the World Cup? That's the best in the world.
Compete against everybody in the world. Like,
let's line them
Olympics.
Up. Line them up. Let's
Olympic champion. I went against everybody that had a shot.
Some of them don't have a shot, Ed.
Well, true.
There's baseball in the Olympics also.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're not called world champions.
No, they're called Olympic champions.
Exactly why.
That's where they're competing. They call themselves a world champion. Like, they call themselves a world champions. But if you're the Major League Baseball team that wins a World Series, you are the best team in the world. Fact. Same thing with football, NFL.
You're not getting it.
Neither are you.
Hey, if any of our 7 listeners are out there,
yeah, I apologize for his behavior today.
I would like to get your
very offensive
comments.
When he shot that 7-year-old at the border, who does that?
Anyway, what else is going on? Got me all fired up here.
Let's talk about something fun. The Super Bowl commercial. What's your favorite all-time Super Bowl commercial?
I don't know the answer to that, but I did hear something interesting today about Super Bowl commercials.
Okay.
So, Mr. Peanut.
Yes. The Planters guy.
Okay, the Planters guy.
With the monocle and the cane.
Mr. Peanut. They've already made a commercial that was supposed to air during the Super Bowl, where Mr. Peanut gets into a car wreck, a fiery car wreck.
Oh.
And I guess he dies, and it's a roasted peanut commercial, right? But they've pulled it.
Yeah, I bet they did.
Of the recent Kobe incident, which is interesting, right? I mean, I think it's probably the right move.
Yeah, I don't know how that's a good commercial to begin with.
Well, they say they're going to play it later on in the year, so I guess we'll decide.
Wow.
But I thought that was interesting.
They made it for the Super Bowl?
Uh-huh. Well, they didn't. Yeah.
They dropped 30 mil.
They made it a while ago, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Favorite Super Bowl commercial of all time? I'm going to go with... There was some good GoDaddy commercials. I actually can't remember any Super Bowl commercials. Maybe there was a good one with animals.
Who?
Animals.
Who?
Animals.
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 Well, I thought you kept on saying anal in British. I was like, what? I never saw that commercial. Like, Jesus Christ. Animals. Yeah. I think anytime something that's not supposed to talk talks, I think those are good commercials. Did Career Builder have a commercial where I remember like plugging people's faces in and making them dance around back in the day? Probably 15 years ago. They sent it out. I don't remember. But anyway, I saw 2 Bud Light seltzer commercials yesterday. Post Malone. Are you familiar with Post Malone?
Ugly bastard.
He is an ugly son of a bitch. Face tattoos. And
at what point do you you wake up in the morning and you're like, I think I'm gonna get a tattoo on my face?
Well, for Post Malone, I think it was when he got the fuck off money. Where you have enough money where you just tell anyone just to fuck off.
I'm not gonna have to go get a job anymore.
What scares me is the precedent sense for people who don't have that money, who think that, oh, it's okay to get a face tattoo. No, I would avoid that unless you're Mike Tyson or Post Malone. Like,
what does that tattoo on your neck mean? It means make reasonable decisions.
Yeah. My son, 9 years old.
He has a tattoo?
Right on his eyebrow. No.
Is it one of those drops
He's
underneath
Post
his eyes?
Malone. He loves Post Malone. He loves him. And
Really?
Daddy,
I like that one Post Malone song.
Well, I like the new one he has, Circles. It reminds me of like driving down the Pacific Coast Highway with the roof down on a rental Mustang. It's kind of music you listen to.
Have you stolen it?
Rented it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, $21.95 a day. Great deal. I know the guy. He's by the airport. It's you don't find it online. But I like that song, but I can't really understand any of the words to any of the songs. But this Bud Light seltzer commercial was actually fairly entertaining. It shows me the guy's got a good sense of humor. And I've seen him do some things with Jimmy Fallon, and he seems like a regular guy, minus the fucking face tattoos.
Yeah,
that's I don't know. That's odd.
That's interesting because people can go through life making 99% solid decisions, and then that 1% can totally screw them up.
Can't erase that. Maybe you can. There's enough money, I guess you can erase anything, right?
Yeah. Anyway.
I almost made a terrible joke, especially in light of recent situations. So I'm not going to say that. So, all right. So, Super Bowl, Chiefs, 49ers, offense versus defense, red versus red. What do you got down in Miami this weekend?
Originally, a couple of episodes ago, where I predicted the future correctly, I said that the
spread?
Chiefs would win. I said the 49ers would win. Then I said the Chiefs were going to win. Now I've changed my mind. Now I think the 49ers are going to win. I want the Chiefs to win. I like old Big Andy Reid to get a ring.
Yeah, I would like that.
But I think the 49ers are going to win.
I'm saying Chiefs by 2 scores.
No.
Chiefs by 2 scores. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So 10 minimum?
10 minimum. Chiefs.
I guess we'll see. Well, by the time our social media provider,
Tom Brady will one of his eighth
gets this
by
out.
the time our shit
probably
shows,
get this out by the next Super Bowl.
Yeah, Brady and the Raiders will be the defending champions.
Yeah, something like that.
So Eddie,
Michael,
last night I had the opportunity to display for you how magical I am.
Wow. Listen to this. This is a crazy story. So I'm obviously a golf fan. Michael isn't. But I did take him to the Masters a couple of years ago. And that year, a guy called Tony Finau, pretty good player,
Stud.
but not on the radar for most people.
Stud.
Was playing the par 3 tournament, made an ace, and while running down the fairway celebrating, he dislocated his ankle and completely jacked up, like 90 degrees. And it was in front of a lot of people. So he just stood up and popped it back into place. Right? And a lot of people thought, that obviously happens a lot. Turns out that was the first time that had ever happened. He completely dislocated his ankle.
Brutal.
Yeah,
The pictures, Google the pictures of his ankle.
YouTube,
it's
Tony
horrible.
Finau ankle.
Oh, terrible.
Finau. Anyway, guy dislocates his ankle on Wednesday, somehow shows up on Thursday, first round of the Masters, and plays and shoots 68. And he's basically at the top of the leaderboard. And Palumbo, being the rookie golf fan that he is,
but I'm a good judge of character.
Right? He basically said, that guy's a badass. That's my new favorite player. Right. This is how many years? 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
Two Masters ago. So so not when Tiger won, year before.
Yeah.
So
So anyway, randomly yesterday, our next door neighbors, two doors down, showed up at the house. 2 boys, 2 twins. They're about 13. And they brought some presents for my boy Jack.
He's suffering from the coronavirus.
From the coronavirus, yeah. He's been sick. So they very sweetly brought him some presents. They brought a minor league baseball bat, a minor league baseball ball, and they bought a signed Tony Finau golf ball randomly. So my boy Jack had no interest in the golf ball. And so I texted Palumbo last night and I said, I have a present for you. Do you want to play 20 questions? Which, in retrospect, putting that on air sounds a bit strange, but we're going to go with it.
You know.
So anyway, I said to Mike, do you want to play 20 questions? And he said, sure. His first question was, is it something that will give me a buzz?
The answer was no.
Oh, let me back up. I said, I have a present for you tomorrow, somewhat relevant to you. It is an object. Do you want to play 20 questions? And he said, oh, man. First question is it something that will give me a buzz? I said, no. Next question, number 2. Is it something I would wear? I said, no. He said, is it something I would put on display? I said, yes, possibly. And we kept going. Is it business related? Is it sports related? Yes. Is it pro sports related? Yes. Keep going. Is it football, baseball? Is it Kobe related? Is it wrestling related? Is it soccer related? Well, that is 11 questions at this point.
Yep.
Right?
11 down, 9 to go.
He said, is it equipment? And I said, yes, but misleading. He said, is it John Daly's pants? No.
He has
Is
good
it Tiger's
pants.
black book?
He wears good pants.
No.
Not Tiger's black book either.
5 left. Anyway, is it a bear? Is it something to do with a bear or a shark? Is it a really long club?
He had 1 question left.
He had one. Yeah, he had 1 question left, and he said, "Is it a ball autographed by Tony Finau?"
Bingo.
I mean, and I said, "What the fuck? I think you're a witch," because I only had that ball in my possession for about 10 minutes before I texted you.
But it was in my mind well earlier than that.
I mean, who on this fucking planet, on this planet that we call the world?
Yes. I'm the world champion of 20
Are you the world
questions
champion
apparently right now.
Even though
world champion at 20 questions right now. Last night I might have been.
I'm now gonna start calling you the world champion guesser, even though you were the only one playing.
I was the only one playing.
Are you comfortable with that?
No, I'm not, and let me tell you why. Because
nobody else had a chance.
No, well, about 4 questions in, your wife texted me and told me what it was, and I just fucked with you for a good 45 fucking minutes.
So much more sense.
I have a great video on my phone over there of you reacting to me guessing, which is wonderful.
That makes so much more sense. I was honestly all night. I
tell you through that story, I was like, I don't think I should tell him. I think I should wait till season 4. But we've already put so much off till season 4 that I felt like now is the time for the big reveal.
I'm such an idiot.
And I told her, I said,
like, how does he guess?
I said, watch this. I'm going to take this in so many different directions and guess it with number 20. I kept on going back through the message. Am I at 20 yet? She said, well,
I'm less impressed now. You're no longer the world champion guesser.
So I know everything. I would have figured it out eventually. Like this morning when you showed up with it. You know?
Anyway. Yeah, I think that's about it for today.
Sounds like a wrap to me, buddy, and it's funny because
it's true.
Yeah, indeed.
It's only funny because it's true.
Yeah, true.
All right, later, buddy.